and then you put your hip down, and you sink down below them, and you pull this way, and then over. Hey guys, Dave Loesch out there, Dad Bod Judo. Okay, today we're going to do the difference between O Goshi and Uki Goshi. Everyone gets this confused. It's a confusing thing because it's like this really similar throws, but there is a difference, and I want to show you the difference today. Let's give it a shot. Oh, and also, I'll show you a little competitive style too, because they both work obviously very well in competition. They're great throws to learn, and you want to make sure that you master both of them. All right, let's do it. We'll start off with O Goshi, because that's the one you learn when you're a kid, and one of the more applicable in terms of competition as well as just regular learning how to throw somebody, because the balance and kind of the leverage thing is there. So with O Goshi, the standardization of this is that you would basically just come in, you put your foot toe to toe, you pull off balance, you take your hand from the lapel, you reach around the waist, you turn, and then you put your hip down, and you sink down below them, and you pull this way, and then over, like that. And you're lifting, it's a lifting throw. So from here, it's pulling off balance, coming around this way, and then what you do, you pull them to you, and as you drop down, and then you can wheel them up and over your hip, okay? Now a little detail with this, what people do wrong with O Goshi that makes it ineffective is they back into that person. What you really want to do, when you back into them, then you're kind of off balance backwards. So you want to bring this person forward. Like any throw, you want to have some space this way so they can actually pull and lean off balance. If I just turn, I'm on my heels and I fall backwards, all right? So when you're moving with an O Goshi, you want to make sure that you have some space here, that as I pull and turn and lift the sleeve and pull her off balance on her toes, then I can sink under, and as I sink, I'm actually not grabbing the back until I get around like this. So instead of going like this, here, it's pulling, 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 then dropping, then lifting, then throwing. All right, so that's kind of the idea of this. So from here, this way, down, over, O Goshi. Now with movement, this is important to learn when you're doing O Goshi, not just standing still in uchikomi, but you also want to be able to move. And the way to do that is, there's certain stepping patterns you want to use. So the stepping pattern is, you're going to step like this. So it's going to be boom, 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 like that. So you're stepping out around. You're not moving this way. You're stepping out this way. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then drop like that. Right? So it looks like this. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then drop. So it's an outward turn when you're going forward. So the way it looks is, you go 1, 2, 3. See, as I pull, I'm pulling and I'm stepping out this way. As I pull, I'm pulling her forward. And this back leg is going to come and accompany this one and drop down at the same time. So it's pulling hard, dropping, and then over. So you can see, so watch this way. Like that. Like that. Okay. That's one way you can go forward, turning, and then dropping. All right. Now the next one is Uki Goshi. This one is a floating hip. O Goshi's major hip throw. This is a floating hip, which means you're not going to really lift. You're going to wheel them or float them over your hip. The way this one works is, what you want to do with this is this motion here is going to be backwards like this. So as I step, this version is going to be stepping back, and then I'm going to step in front. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull to my hip. So as I go here, like that. See, this back leg doesn't really move that much. I just step in front. Now, I have my hip. Now from here, I wheel over my hip this way, like that. And they actually fall to the side. They don't fall forward. So you're wheeling as an uki, as a floating hip. So the way to do this is you can go here, you can step it back like this. As you step back, then I step this way. So as I step here. Now from here, see, now I'm in front. My hip is perpendicular to her hips. Now I pull to my hip this way. And see how I stick? I can use my hip, I can shift a little bit. As I shift, I pin her onto my side, and then I wheel to here and just whip over like that. And that's what makes it an uki, a floating, and not a major lifting throw. All right? So watch again. Here's how you can practice it. If she steps backwards, I can put this foot, my right foot back. As she steps her right foot back, I step mine. See this? So this way. Like that. Like this. And then, here. Like that. Okay, so starting this way, toe to toe. She steps back. I step in front. I pull, hip, and then over, like that. So, what do these look like in competitions? Well, the one way to do this is when you're competing, especially when you have like a kinkajutsu position, or maybe, let's say for instance she's lefty and I'm righty, and she's coming over top and she's crunching me. Now what I could do is, one of the nicer ways to throw somebody from here is to shift your hips across and throw them with O Goshi. So what I could do is, if I'm getting crunched down, I may need to pull and step across this way, and then come across as I go here. Like that, and I can lift. That can also be an Uki Goshi too. So he's coming over, she's lefty, she's crunching me down. I go to the back this way. I can grab the belt, or I can just reach around to the back side, and as I step, I pull out. As I step, I pull out, and I can throw that way. Okay, so variation of that obviously is grabbing the belt and doing like a sori goshi too. You're lifting, or if you're coming over this way, this like that, you're still using your hip. The bottom line is you want to make sure that you're coming across this way and then pulling forward and then turning. All right, so it's one way you can do that, to shift across. The other way is, if she comes in for, let's say, a right-sided hip throw, okay, I can block, and then I drop my hand down to the waist and then shift across, and then throw like that. So you throw the block in with your hip. So we're fighting, she comes in, I have to block, stop to throw with my hip, my hand drops to the waist, I just shift in between this way, and then throw. So that's another way to do that in terms of O Goshi, the competition style. So those are two different ones. It's O Goshi and Uki Goshi. The differences, give those a shot, practice those. If you like these videos, please subscribe, comment below, hit the notification bell, try this video here, or subscribe here, give it a shot.